record this real quick. There we go. Now we're recording. Yeah, we often get people like, they'll just say, "Oh, I'll attend the meeting in 2 weeks when it lines back with my schedule," because we're coordinating schedules in like 16 different time zones. People like it's
Yeah.
crazy, and so it's just easier if people just like, okay, for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a little quiet, and then you'll see the number of people looking at our recorded videos goes up, and the number of people coming to meetings goes down. Which is fine. You just got to flex with it. So I figure we can wait just a little bit. And can I click here and make this happen? Nope. Don't know when I'll ever use that one. Maybe when Skip gets a bright idea.
Oh, that's good. Now you need to put in the don't dump. Yeah. There you go. That fits.
I need to get you one of these for when you're coaching to really, liven up the coaching sessions.
Oh yeah, yeah. Harass our coaching clients. That's always at everyone's top.
I do
of their list.
fireworks around here somewhere. I don't know if it's on this scene or not. That's not in this scene.
Yeah.
I have fireworks that go off when I do certain things. Did the reminder email not go out today? I did not see it.
I have muted everything I could trying to do some recordings. So I have not ventured into email yet.
It says it's scheduled.
No, we have not received a reminder email. So that
knows what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
I set it for 11:45, which should be 12:45 Central. Oh, shoot. I set it for tomorrow.
There we go.
Yeah. Just click send now.
All right, Bob. No, I don't think I'm going to put a bag over my head. I don't know. Might not be too bad. Little eye holes poking out. I don't know. Maybe let me think about that. That might be kind of funny.
From Cosby, kid with the brown bag on his head.
Yeah. But for those days that I'm running late, like today, I want to eat lunch, then I could, I could sneak a little bit bite up underneath the bag and eat on it. No one know the difference.
There we go. Now it's sending out. So you all get the agenda for today, like 5 minutes late. I apologize. I got to remember the day because HubSpot automatically, when you create automatic emails, HubSpot automatically slates them for the next day. If I don't switch it doesn't work. So anyways, on with the agenda for today. First of all, I'd like to ask Skip, what the heck is up with that logo in the top right corner?
Absolutely. I've heard of these guys. We've kind of been, I think, working with them a little bit. I think that's going to change a little bit.
So as of April 1st, what we can tell the community is that MSPL and Virtual C are merging. I don't have a drum roll.
There we go.
Into one company. So some of you may have heard like rumors, but the advantage to this is now all the product lines will merge and there won't be any confusion as to what you're buying. So when you buy something, you just get everything. The only thing to commit to is like how, like, do you want like certain integrations or do you want like certain involvement with editing and stuff? So over the next few months, you're going to see new packages roll out, and there is no more VEP, HIT, individual like add-ons and marketplace items. You're going to see it just simply like merged together as you buy MSPL Basic, you get everything that goes with that. And so for some of you, that might make things cheaper. For some of you, it's going to make things a lot simpler because like on the MSPL Basic package, the way we have it set up is that it's geared to 100% to HIT. That's all you get. You cannot edit it or anything. It's just turn the key and run. So if you've got people that maybe are in your peer groups that are smaller MSPs that just want to go and run without editing anything, they can get the whole HIT package here coming up pretty soon. With the menus will even be simplified. Like half those icons up at the top go away. So you just deliver HIT stuff.
Yeah, I think we all see the value in what the managed services platform tool allows us to do. And at HIT, I think we've developed, a really good framework as to define the goals and the processes, what we're going to do. The tool really enables that for us. But at the end of the day, sometimes we just need to get rolling. And that's what I really like about the HIT basic package is that you'll, to your knowledge, just put the key in, turn it, and take off. And that might be a very, very great starting spot for a lot of smaller MSPs specifically, but even larger ones who are like, hey, we've got a whole team that we can devote to editing and customizing this, but let's just start on it. Oddly enough, I've been in enough organizations to know that sometimes the hardest step is just simply the first step. And after that, you can build some momentum and get things going. So our HIT basic package will scale up to what has traditionally been, the larger packages and managed service platform, and we'll line all that out for you here in the coming months. But it is going to be a unified vision of what we can do, not only with the tool, but how the tool is used.
Yeah. And the kind of some of the good things is you guys all get grandfathered in
There we
as
go.
like founding members. We'll come up with some kind of founding package, like because you know the way it works. Like if you do like the basic package, you lose all edit rights and stuff. So we got to find some way to get everybody into these new packages that were for those of you who have customized and have done a lot of work. That you keep that customization feature and that you're rewarded for being with us for so long. But
Absolutely.
the other good things that are happening here are items like now Skip and Miles and Danish and I are all on the same team, and we all have specific roles. So if you got problems with the product, you just call Skip or somebody on Skip's team. And there's no like, oh, that's a Miles problem, that's a Chava problem, that's a Peter problem, that's go down the list of all the people that work here. And now it's no, you talk to Skip, and then Skip helps you out. And if somebody needs to get signed up for a new MSPL basic package, you just talk to Miles. Miles will onboard, and Miles will get you in there, and then he'll shift you over. So everything is simpler now. And so I look forward to seeing what this does for the community, getting feedback from people as to like smaller MSPs who are like maybe more boutique, who could really use this framework and help them become better. And so for a lot of you larger MSPs, having the little guys get better means that there are less of these, $1,500 a month kind of or $500 a month gigs that are out there that are annoying you. That you can say, hey, you know what? I know this guy over here does a fantastic job. He's a humanized IT subscriber, and I can with confidence hand off a $500 a month uh, deal to this person. Whereas the $500 a month person could say, man, this shop is too big for me. Maybe I can work with somebody who else is a humanized IT member. And we know that there's going to be a consistent handoff there, and everybody's scratching each other's backs. So there are some really cool opportunities coming up, especially with all of us getting consistent here with offering packages, with you know the whole community as a whole getting better as MSPs go. And I really see us having rapid growth. And rapid growth means more features. It means more streamlining. It means more money I can pay devs, more money I can put in special requests or UI upgrades for the love of God. I really want those UI upgrades. Anybody who's been in a conversation with me knows that I'm a very much a UI focused guy. So, and that's why when you work with us, you have like things like marketing handouts, you have really pretty like reports. We spend a lot of time making sure that they look good and they feel good. I want to make that just seamless from the UI standard. If there's any questions out there, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, I'm going to have Skip do a demo of what Q2 is all about.
All right.
Did you get my memo?
I did. And I'll go ahead and start. I'll start with the screen share this time. Last time I
Okay.
think I was
So
late on that.
while Skip's getting us ready, Q2 is all about service audits. Q1 was all about getting the infrastructure. So the progression is know what your clients have, know how to service it, know what risks are involved, and formulate a strategy around that. So we are in step 2 right now, where you should have done infrastructure audits for all your clients. Now you need to move into what are you going to do with that infrastructure? So Skip, take it away.
All right. And there is a reason, why this is step 2 and not step 1. Now you can do them. I mean, if you're in a cycle where, hey, I need to really tackle with the services first, you can do that. And in fact, the services assessment is a good pre-sales tool when you have a well-qualified lead, someone that you think it's, valuable enough to spend some time. It's not a quick, 15 seconds, click here, click there sort of thing. It does take a little bit of work to go through. But if you have, again, that real well qualified lead that you want to spend a little bit of time with and make that investment, you can go through the services to help line out the sales proposition, the value add that your organization can provide, and then kind of help with pricing a little bit as well. There is just a little bit of help on that. So, but in a longer term engagement, what we want to do is we want to go through the cycle of first checking to see, do our clients have the right solutions within their environment? All right. So we do that in the architecture assessment. We figure out, again, is it a product sitting in a rack? Is it a solution, a cloud solution or something that they're, subscribing to? Whatever it is, it typically has some sort of SKU. It may be a line item on an invoice, but it is a specific solution that we want in their environment. So the second step on this is, hey, they have the solution, and we focus it now on the services section of, are they using that solution properly? So we dive into this a couple of different ways. For some of the advanced guys, we really want to highlight a best practices assessment here, but that is very much a more mature level in the platform. So
Man,
you guys,
the assessment haunts me.
no, it's great.
Certain members of the community that always bring it up.
Hint, hint. No, so it's there, and we can definitely tie these together. The services report that we have out there in the library is a bit of a step back, and you're going to see it again. You'll see some of the sales possibilities as we roll through this, but we want to make sure that the client is getting the right services that they need. So as in general, with most of our reports like this, we don't have a whole lot here in the table of contents. Our focus is use that strategic review, that larger document, reconfigure it for annual, monthly, quarterly, however you want to do that. We'll dive into a lot more of that later on in the year, but it's out there available. It's easy to get going. There's also some video guides on that as well if you need any help. So we can start with that and then launch down into something specific. And so here we get our, a little cover page. We'll talk about score, the actual assessment, and then the roadmap. All right. So we have a very, very simplistic approach to this. And so we start off, I haven't filled this one out. I was getting a few other things ready, so we didn't get it. We'll walk through this and see what this looks like a little bit. So we get this breakdown here on types of user support, infrastructure monitoring, and cyber protection. All right. Again, this is a high level approach. All right. When we talk about cyber protection here, we're not jumping in there and doing a NIST level assessment or anything. All right. This is a way to say, hey, are you using technology services in the right way? Are you getting what you need from technology? Are you getting that return on investment? We always find ways to, put little ROI tags out there when we're making a sale, but do we come back later and show the client, hey, this is how you're getting the value for that service or that solution that you buy? So we go through here and it breaks it down really, really straightforward. Help desk, do they need it? Ad hoc, probably not. That's not something we really want to advertise, but that may be where they're at. All right. So we select that, their current state. This might be a good situation where, we're trying to bring on a new customer and we say, look, come on with us and we've got an 8x5 help desk. And they go, all right, that's great. But, we work weekend shifts as well. And not a problem. We can cover you on that. And so changing this will do two things. And I'll go back and restate this. I really, really like this feature in the tool. All right. Our ability to say, hey, you guys only need the 8x5 section of our service desk will set their score to 67. All right. Why not set the score to 100? As many of you heard me say, it's a great opportunity to tell your clients that by customizing this assessment and by filling out this assessment correctly, you're able to create a customized technology roadmap and a technology assessment that fits your client's business. So this is the perfect opportunity to demonstrate to them that you are trying to be that technology partner and not just the vendor trying to sell everything in your catalog. So great opportunity. If we do this too often, I will give you the pro tip on this. If you do this too often in all the assessments so that all of your clients always score down a little bit, I think it does kind of devalue that scoring just a little bit. So ideally, you would want to fill out this assessment so that at the end you had several sections that were targeted out to be 100 and then only a few that targeted at something lower. And I think that provides just a little more realistic assessment. So as we go through here, you might have to tweak things just a little bit.
Hey, and Skip and I argue about this particular topic all the time because I am of the opinion that 100% isn't necessary.
Yeah.
I want my clients to know that, you're only getting 3/4 of our availability, and that's okay. But just so you know, we're here to grow with you. But we do have a number of people who just say, like, I want them to have 100%. How do I get everybody to 100%? And so that's a mindset thing that you just got to get through. So for me, I want them to see that shift, like you're in the target area for somebody your size. And maybe that's something we need to figure out someday, Skip, for a UI update, is the target zone. Like we want you in here, we need you in like that 60 to 85 range. And as long as you're in there, you're okay.
Yeah, and that is, a constant challenge. So, like in this case here, by filling out the assessment the way I have, we've got 100 as the target score for this section, the PC lifecycle maintenance. All right, and so the client's currently at 60, and that's, however we tackle this, do we say, hey, upgrade and migration services, that's actually really included in, our standard package. So, I don't think I want to capture that information at all right here in this part of the assessment. Fine, take it out. All right. So by removing both items here, I've changed the target score to 80. All right. But if you want that in there, or if you feel like, hey, yeah, we're already doing that somewhere else, let's go ahead and say we're doing it somewhere else. And now, again, we've adjusted the target score out to 100, and conversely, their current assessment moves up to 80. But however you tackle this, this is kind of the endless debate, all right, that goes on, and it doesn't really matter. I think both and all points are valid. What I really want to highlight is this gap. For all of the assessments, this gap is the critical conversation piece of understanding that, helping your client understand, and you yourself as well, understanding that they're here and we need to get them to somewhere else. Right? That's the entire purpose of this. And so once we define these, we'll want to click the plus, and now that puts that up on the roadmap. And so now we have a plan. And just as we had in the architecture assessment, we can put things down here. Hey, they need a proactive support team with a service level agreement. That's great, but we're not going to tackle that right now. All right, so we don't click the plus, but we leave it down here. All right, so we do have the recommendation, and by let's say they have a reactive team. They've got some contract that they can leverage, but it's all reactive. All right, so now we have defined again the gap. All right, this score defines the gap, but we're leaving it essentially on the very back burner. All right, so that we don't forget about it, but we can get to this at some point in the future. So the thing that I really like about this is it matches up, conceptually and functionally with the architecture assessment. This will fit really closely with the security assessment that we'll talk about in next quarter, and ultimately our strategic assessment that we'll go over with in Q4. And so we have this common, uh, you know, tool that we're using throughout the year to engage with our clients in 4 very specific areas of their business. Right now, we need to be focusing on that services element. What are they doing with their technology?
And I think people need to remember that. So the way that the tool has evolved, when you do a service recommendation, like right here, so what does proactive support team with SLA like? I don't have a package for that. I don't know what I'm selling there. Remember, over the recommendations, that's just a placeholder. You can edit that and say, for this client, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. So when you go to the project listing and you go to pitch this stuff, you can say, yeah. So you can click on there and you can say, what we want to do is we want to make sure that they have a 4-hour guarantee on site support because they're going to pay buku bucks for this.
Yeah.
Or whatever the package you do have available, that you explain it here.
Yeah.
And so in the 2.0 versions of these, which most of you should have, it asks what's the business purpose, what's the solution, and when are you going to implement it. You'll simply fill that out once you have a recommendation. So the SLA level is just anything where you promise to operate within a certain set of parameters. That's how you know you can select that. That's the flexibility of a framework rather than a process. A process would say you have to have the SLAs defined by a legal team and have to have all this stuff in place before you can promise this package. The way a framework set works is that you say, hey, we need some kind of package that allows for a standardization of service levels. And so you can put it in here so the client knows what to expect. And once you've done that, you will start succeeding because the client feels more confident. And you didn't have to go through 3 months of prep work just to get this one package ready. You know that it's going to cost this much to your company. This is how much you charge for it. It may not be exactly called what we have in this report, but you have a spot for service level agreements. And then you can define those within the service card if you wish.
Absolutely. And remember, we even going back a little ways, so even our little bit older service cards, if you got some of those configured in your systems, those are still very high level. I think it's been years since we put any specific vendor information in the service cards. So they are the project cards. So they're all going to say something that really drives at the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do, not the product or the feature set that we're really trying to utilize. It's ultimately, are we providing the protection? Are we providing the performance? Are we providing the feature-rich environment that the client needs? Whatever it is, that's what we're putting in the project cards. And now that we can, jump down here, and when we hit this in the roadmap, we always click on this and then jump down here and put specific deliverables. What do they need? If they're needing, a 24-hour response, well, let's put that in here. All right. And we can do those. Here's the great thing about these. I tell everybody, I'm an engineer, and so I have a really hard time of, doing things in complete sentences. Right. If it doesn't start with config T, I'm not really sure what to say. Right. But here is bullet points. Right. And I can put bullet points on here, as I'm talking.
Yeah, because you can edit these things on the fly in the meeting, like, oh, they would also like you to do this. And what's fun for those of you who have not been around for the past like 5 years, you used to not be able to do this. If you wanted a custom service template like this, you had to build it from scratch. You had to copy one, edit it, put it in place, and then all your service cards were exactly like that. And it required a ridiculous amount of work. I mean, that's how Virtual C started doing really well, was that we had all of these cards defined, and there were hundreds of them. There still are. If you look out there, you'll see hundreds of them, and a lot of them seem like they're duplicates. They're not. They're just variants on the same one. Now you can just do it on the fly. What does your customer need? This is really useful, especially for you boutique shops out there who are able to say, you know what? You're actually just right across the street from us. We can probably give you an hour SLA if you're willing to pay an extra $1,000 a month.
There we go. And that's exactly what we need
in your contract.
Yeah,
and it's not a problem. And this is how you make more money, because every year you're going to edit the service levels, and you're going to ask, you're going to look and say, what changed? Do I need to make new recommendations? Do they need 24-hour support now? Maybe they had a third shift added onto their workplace. Like, hey, you know what? We received a ton of after hours calls from you guys last year. We really recommend you move to our 24-hour availability. Um, and it'll help you out a lot, because then we can look for capacity and make sure we have engineers that are available for you. And so you
absolutely.
can upsell your clients on services every year, because you can see, like, you know what, they weren't able to do this last year. This year they should be able to do it. Let's talk to them about it.
Absolutely.
You can customize that. Or last year we talked about how they wanted more printer support. And, like, you know what, we can come on site once a month and do a printer tune up, and it's an extra $100 a month, something like that. And you just build it in. And you can add that to your service card for the printer area of services. It's really powerful that you can standardize this, because we used to have to create a card for everything. We
Yeah.
used to create a custom audit for every unique way of doing business. Now we can just edit on the fly. That's the beauty of the framework.
And this goes back to one of the same principles that we talked about in the architecture assessment, is we don't want to leave money on the table, so to speak, right? So we come through, we look at their environment, go, oh yeah, you guys need to replace this, you need to replace that. And the client goes, okay, we will, maybe not now. All right. But we got to get that replaced. And we don't want to go, months or years into the contract and not get that taken care of. We forgot about it. It doesn't creep up until, it bites us. And now it's a big problem. And everyone's going, why didn't we replace this, 18 months ago? Well, we forgot. That's many times what the answer is. We hate to say that, but that's what it is. We just forgot. We got busy. It didn't become a priority. So we want to do the same thing with our service assessment, and we stay on top of this. We stay vigilant. All right, we're going through this, and onboarding. They're going. There's just 6 of us here. We don't really need user training. Everybody knows how to do this. Great, we take it out of the mix. But we come back with them next year, and they go, we had a bumper year. We've hired 6 more people. I think we need some onboarding. I think how do we do that now? We need to add that out to our portfolio. No problem. We can put together a video package that'll show your clients how to come on board, how to operate their technology within your standards, and how you want things done. You're talking about standards. Do you have IT governance? We're only 6 people. Yeah, we don't need it for now, right? But again, that evolution of your clients. I mean, if you look over your clients and their businesses, it is the rare client that you have that is still doing things the exact same way they did when you started doing business with them 4, 5, 6 years ago. I mean, it's just the common, marketplace that we're in. A lot is changing. We have people coming and going, in a lot of different jobs. And so we need a tool that's flexible to, meet the needs of what we're trying to look for, but also is going to keep us on track with a standard year over year over year. So we won't go into all the bits and pieces of this. I mean, it's a standard assessment that we work through, but this is set up and ready to go. And again, this is not asking, for network connections and firewalls, dedicated security operations center. Okay. All right. So we're talking about a SIM and a SOC here, right? But we haven't defined, the specific process and the specific product and, the SLAs or the reporting metrics or all the stuff that goes into selling and managing that. We're just saying, hey, do you have that on your connectivity? Yes or no. All right. If they don't need it, we don't check it. If they need it, we select future state. If they currently have it, we select current state and we move on. That's all we need to do is capture where they're at. All right. Identify the gaps, manage the gaps. We'll come back a year later. We'll do it again. It's just a rinse and repeat cycle year over year over year. And our customers change, we change, the marketplace and the technology landscape changes. So there's always going to be work that needs to be done in this, but it won't be stuff that we've forgotten about. It's like, oh yeah, I was going to do that, but I got busy. I've done that plenty of times myself. I'm sympathetic to that excuse because I know what your business is, but it still doesn't hurt any less if I have a good reason, right? When that firewall explodes and I can't fix it because I don't have the staff, I don't have the vendor relationships, and I shouldn't be in this problem because I was gonna replace that firewall, months and months ago and I didn't do it. It doesn't change any of those things. It's all what I'm dealing with right now. So I'm very, very passionate about helping you guys manage this constant and evolving set of parameters that you're trying to use your business in to solve their problems. I can't fix them all, but I can at least give you a tool to help you manage them. And so that's what this does. It's manage those services and solutions.
Yep. So to sum up what we need to get done today is that you need to start just going through every one of your clients with this report, spending 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh,
Just
this one's
checking them off.
definitely shorter than the architecture
Way
assessment.
shorter. So
Way
you
shorter.
look at 20 minutes per, so like an hour a day, go get a cup of coffee, sit down at your desk and pick 3 clients and run it.
Yep.
Do this every day and you'll be done in no time. And you'll probably stir up a lot of cash as you find things like, oh crap, they're still, or you can create a better picture because when you do that strategic report with them on a quarterly basis, you're going to see that you're going to come into that room with a clearer picture of what they're doing. And you guys are all smart people. You'll be able to stitch those ideas together. Like, why aren't they doing it? So you can hit those no-brainer projects. This is just painting a bigger picture. And when you have that infrastructure audit done, you got that score right across the screen for them, and then you got the services, and it's really low. Or like, you really need to be up here if you want your scores to validate. Because what's going to happen is you're going to build up technology debt, and you can start those narratives about
Yep.
why they need that service level. Your portfolio is growing, and your services need to grow with them. And so you can start painting that picture. Then in third quarter, when we start doing our risk audits, you're going to see and go, okay, so one of our risks is that if you go down tomorrow through a blackout, you're going to have to wait a full 24 hours. You're going to be last in line for us to come help you out because we've got other customers we have SLAs on. Do you want to be in the priority group or do you want to be in the fall behind group, or the backup group? And so you're going to start painting these pictures. And there's a reason why we chose these orders. And then by October, you're going to have this ability, and during Cybersecurity Awareness Month, when everybody's talking about cybersecurity because all of the money in the industry is being pushed into ads and stuff hitting people, you're going to be able to walk into your clients and say, here's your architecture, here is your service levels, and here's where your risk gaps are because you're not at the service level you need to be, or you don't have the infrastructure you need to do these things. And that's why we're doing these things in order. And if you just keep on the cadence, if you just follow through on doing about 3 a week or 3 a day, you pick what you want to do.
There you go.
But these service audits, you can get these done really fast and you can do them across every single client you have. And when you walk in to do a strategic report or have one of your account managers do a strategic report for you, they're going to look like an amazing person because they're going to have all this data that they can throw in front of your client that's easily digestible and very relevant to them so that they can make easy and quick decisions on projects. And that's where you're going to start making your money back.
Yeah.
So is services, because usually services are recurring revenue.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we really want to focus on this quarter. We're going to keep hitting on this. We've got a nice project timeline for this quarter to kind of help you go through what do services mean? What's a recurring service and how do you pitch that with architecture? What about one-time projects? What about one-time on-site training? There are different things we'll cover over this quarter so that you can go through your service audit and get the most out of it and align with your clients the best.
Absolutely. And just remember, so last quarter was about, do you have the right solutions? And this quarter, we really want to focus, are you using those solutions? Are you getting the most out of it? This is actually one of the areas where you can probably drive. It's a different area, but you can drive a lot of revenue if you take this approach of, are you getting the value for the technology you've bought, right? Nobody wants to buy something and then get nothing out of it. I mean, if you buy a Ferrari and just park it in the garage and say, oh yeah, it looks good and I have one, but you never get into that thing and drive it, you don't get the real value for it, right?
They
We
did.
want our clients to get the real value for their technology.
Ferris Bueller, his dad just kept it in that garage all the time and cleaned it.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody got in there and got some value out of it. That we talked about that in the risk quarter.
Glorious day of value.
Somebody got value out of it, but it wasn't it wasn't the guy's dad.
Again, like there's a reason we're going through this, Kate, and with the announcement of the merger, for those of you watching this on recording, set up some time with Skip or I, and we can talk you through what that means, and you can answer any questions with it. It's just a lot of value being provided to existing members, and great opportunities for new members to come in and help feed the community with ideas and just making it more robust. So
Yep.
with that, I'm going to sign off, and I will see everyone next week.
Sounds great.